Hello, welcome in. Hello, stream. Hello, watchers. Ah, right. Just making sure everything's working all right. Hello, Mark. Welcome in. I think we're good. All right. Sorry, I got carried away doing some painting, and then before I knew it, it was like 1 minute to, and I panicked. Aha, we're here. So yeah, hello everyone. Everyone live. Thomas and Mark, hello. Welcome in. Thomas, it is early for a change. Fair play. Hello, welcome in. Hello, John, welcome in. Yeah, welcome everyone watching live, anyone watching back on YouTube, hello. Any of you curious about what we've been getting up to on the streams, go check out the playlist. I think it's Big American Civil War Sunday stream or something like that. But alas, here we are again for another one. How is everyone? Has everyone had a good weekend and a good week since we last spoke? And also, if you're working on anything tonight, let me know. I was just painting some of my Napoleonic French. And that's why I got carried away and forgot to click the stream button. But we're here. Right. So this is a belt buckles and boots, or whatever way round it is, stream. So we're going to carry on with the first fire Zouaves. So here we are. Right, I'm going to get my table ready because I didn't have it ready because I was painting something else. Right. And then let's do this. I've got a bit of a headache. I should have probably gone and got painkillers before we started this, but hey ho. Feels like yesterday since we were last here. Yeah, it's flown by this weekend, I must admit. And the week as well, actually, but I mean, first week back, so. Hey David, how are you? Welcome in. So yeah, back to it. Right, let's do a recap of what we actually got up to. So, we've done all the shirts, the fezzes, kepi, so hats, shirts, and trousers were done last time. So I guess maybe this time is to start looking at doing their satchels and stuff, haversacks. Thomas, good week getting into the hobby. Getting into a big hobby week, sorry. Week off from uni and work, so a lot of painting game to get down. Currently painting up some artillery and crews and some Zouaves for a friend. Oh, very nice, mate. Got a busy week ahead of you, but cool. What artillery pieces you were doing? Anything in particular, or just sort of generic pieces? David, hope you're all shiny. I'm as shiny as I can be. I've tonight's crept up on me. I think it's just all sudden happened a bit quick. Ah, so here we are. We're doing some painting. I have done zero painting this weekend, apart from I just started painting these chats about 15 minutes ago. So, and I've just tried some snow effects on a base here. That's just gone down fresh, so I'm going to see how it dries. That's what I've done today. Or this weekend, shall I say. Have I actually painted anything since last Sunday? I don't know. I think I did a little bit on one of my French Napoleonic French artillery crew. I think I did a little bit of stuff around that, but oh, excuse me. Right, still working on the wall of bolt action British and Canadian winter infantry box, says John. Very nice, mate. Very nice. Is it the British and Canadian winter infantry? Is that a plastic box set now, or is that still their metals? Because I know they did like British and greatcoats, or am I thinking of American and greatcoats? That's a nice theme for an army, though. I'd like to do some winter World War II. Thomas said parrot rifles for my own unit. Originally had my crews with Napoleons, but they should have had parrots. Fair play. I'm looking at doing that, sort of trying to go off a historical unit for my artillery, and I've kind of got it about right, but depends what rules you're playing, I guess. But I think, for example, like bolt action and some other rules, I'm not sure there's much Oh, I don't know. I'm yawning so much. I don't know if there's much difference between guns. You know, you might get medium and heavy guns, but apart from that, there's no difference between sort of Barretts and Napoleons. But it depends what rule sets you're playing. But nice. Yeah, I just don't think I slept very well last night. Although I had a very early night. I think I was asleep just before 10. Yeah. Right. Let's get into it. So I think what we will do next is the bag, which I'm going to be doing black. So at the same, if we get the black out, we can do the belts, cartridge boxes, bags, boots. Start coming to life a little, perhaps. We're going to paintbrush again. All reliable, and then oh, we've got some good news actually from last week. My missing package of Warlord Game Generals arrived. So that's one less thing to worry about, as that's been going on for a while. So yeah, they're here now. So that's probably, I think, what we'll do next after these chaps. Paint up some generals. Something I kind of lack at the moment is general based like figures, you know. Just finished most of the infantry, about 30,000 troops equivalent of the French Army of Italy, 1796, all based in table ready. Oh, very nice, mate. You've been very busy then. I care because I have ancestral ties to the unit it represents. My Napoleonics got a big boost with eBay purchase of partially painted and unbased minis. Oh, nice, mate. Thomas, is that 28mm Napoleonics, or have you gone for something different? Yeah, it's nice doing trying to base something off a historical unit. I must admit, I do. That's what I do try. Right. John, new plastic 28mm. I like to find some snow for my 1944 winter, but not sure what best to find the snow. Yeah, so I used this earlier on a base I've just done, but I know AK Interactive do some snow as well. So, yeah, I don't know. I think I might look at some AK Interactive next, because my whole French Napoleonic will be, or this army I'm doing will be based on snow bases. So, yeah, I think I would look at AK Interactive next. Just try it out, really. Because also Citadel, you're not getting a lot for your money. Being the tubs being so small. Thomas, yeah, 28mm, got 10 boxes of Perry Napoleonic French for 90 quid. That is a steal. That's a very good one, that is. Nice. That's a good find. Although, now you've got 10 boxes of Perry miniatures Napoleonics you need to paint up. It's the only downside of eBay purchases. I remember on one of the Facebook groups a while back, someone was selling off like Perry American Civil War boxes for like £10 each. So I just kept clearing them out, but then it just meant I had all these more miniatures to paint up, you know. So I'm a sucker for a good deal, but it just meant more work for me. Right. I don't know if anyone is going to Joy 6 this year. I have a game there, my first show as an exhibitor. I'm not going to Joy of 6, unfortunately, but I've heard a lot about it, and I would like to go at some point, but yeah, not for me this year. But what game are you running, mate? About 1/4 are fully painted, so that takes some off the plate. Yeah, fair play, Thomas. Yeah, I think we spoke about it last. Maybe I didn't actually. I was talking the other day to some friends about, like, I'm starting to see the appeal of like commissioned armies and stuff. I always used to like painting, but now I'm like, I can understand buying painted miniatures. You know. So as long as they were close enough to my paint scheme, I would have no issue buying painted stuff now. You know. I think I've painted so much now. I'm almost over it. Whereas if I could buy, for example, my French army I'm collecting at the moment, if I were to buy a brigade of French infantry already painted up and I just had to base them or something, I wouldn't mind that right now. Get me closer to gaming, I guess. I'll have to go check some artwork a minute and see what colour I want to paint these canteens. They are metal ones, so don't know if I do them with like the British blue, you know, like the blue canteens that they used to use. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'd be going to any game shows, you know. I'm going to like a little game event up in Bristol, but yeah, I don't know if I'll be going to any big shows. I'd like to do Salute again, but I think I've said in the past it always lands on my daughter's birthday weekend, so we tend up. So I don't really have the time to go up to London. But if I did, I don't think I'd be forgiven. It's going to be a nice unit to get finished though, these Zouaves. Maybe do a little battle of first ball run scenario, just so I can get these guys on the table along with the 14th Brooklyn. I haven't ever been to a game show, but I want to go. The one you want to go to is when you're busiest at work. Yeah, that's a shame. I went to Salute one year and I liked it. Yeah, I'd like to go again. But I think when I went to Salute, I didn't really take any pocket money with me, you know. So it'd be nice to go next time and do a bit of a blowout on the stalls and I think maybe because I was on my own for it, I wasn't. You know, I had a good look around and then sort of left. Whereas I think if I went with mates or something, I'd spend a bit more time there. Who knows? At the same time, they had a Star Trek convention on, which is quite cool. The Battle of Gaines Mill, ACW, I'm taking my custom built contoured 3x3 table. It's a classic asymmetrical rear guard action from the 7 days. Very nice, mate. That'll be a good game then. Are you going to do any sort of take some photos and stuff of it and post it anywhere? So it'll be good to see how you get on. Thomas, one ball run. I've searched everywhere trying to find the 69th New York State militia flags as carried at ball run, but no one does it. I don't know. What's the difference between them and the ones they carried later in the war then? Is there much of a difference? Did they not carry their green? Let me see what. Just had a thing come off on my phone. Thomas says Gainesmill is one of my favourite battles. Currently working on one of the divisions that took part in the battle. Very nice. Again, this just trying to be so much more neater with contrast paints these days. So I mean, once this black's done, we're not a million miles away from completing these guys. And again, just sort of being neat just speeds up that process, really. I've got quite a few models that I'm sort of halfway through painting in my old paint scheme. Kind of don't really want to go back to painting them because it's just so long-winded. And I don't really want to start again either. So I'm sort of stuck in this limbo. Like, I've got half the Iron Brigade still sort of half finished. So I want to get them done, but not really in the mood to go back and paint them. The state militia flags were a lighter green, had only sunburst on the flag and hat, presented to the 69th Regiment in I can't pronounce that word. Commemoration. Why am I struggling there? On the 11th of October 1860. God, I don't know what happened there. Maybe I'm tired. I can't pronounce. I can't read at the best of times, to be honest. Yeah, I don't know. There's no one I can think of that would do it. The only potential you can do, if you can get a good graphic of what it should look like, you could just print it yourself. It's the only thing I could think of. Something I should have attempted a long time ago, because I've spent so much money on flags for units. See, that's the cap pouch on the belt. I can see now. Forget that. Hello, Robert. Welcome in. Welcome in. The whole gang's here now. Actually, we're still missing a few, but we're just getting closer and closer to these chaps done. Oh. How are you, Robert? Anyway, I don't know if I asked. How are you on this Sunday? There we. So I'm just getting the all the black done. So it's like the straps. I wonder if I put the camera on, the torch on. Can't really tell. There we go. Thomas, don't even talk about the money I spent on flags. Yeah. My biggest flag order was 20 flags from G&B. I still don't like to think about that day. It's just such a, in my opinion, a necessity, those flags, though. For flags custom made, give the guy at Flags of War a call. Ah, that's a good suggestion, David. There you go. I know I've mentioned, I think I've contacted Flags of War in the past. It was either them or GMB because they had the wrong writing on one of the flags. And yeah, just sent them an email and they corrected it. And bish bash bosh. So such good detail on these miniatures. I'd love to have the ability of like the Perry brothers to just, you know, something pops in their head, they think, oh, I'm going to sculpt it. And they do, and then that's it. Yeah, miniatures. Very skillful. I guess we're getting that way with 3D printing, aren't we? You can do digital sculpting. I can't, I'm not good enough, but people out there. Was it more than the Lego train? What's that? I have recently bought a Lego train. That's what Mark's hinting at there. I've been looking at some American Civil War minifigures actually for the Lego train. Maybe do like a troop transport. But that's the problem. The flags are very nice, but at like, I don't know, £3.50 a set can be a bit steep sometimes. Especially like with the Union flags where they have 2 flags to a regiment. Whereas Confederates you kind of get away with it sometimes because a lot of them will carry single flags. This is where Flags of War do like normally around Christmas. They'll do like a buy 5 and get 1 free or something like that. And that tends to be a good deal. I've spent way more on flags than my £70 Lego train, yes. I reckon it's in over £100 at least. I did do some like eBaying as well and pick up some like cheaper alternatives to give it a go. Like I bought some Pennsylvanian state flags. Because I noticed like the Pennsylvania Reserves carried a different flag to the others, I think. And I found them cheap on eBay. They were like a different material and they're not as good quality, but slightly cheaper doing it that way. Got a balloon mini, nice. Well, like an observation balloon. That'd be cool. Yeah, I think maybe Thomas send an email might be a better way to do it. I always think on social media, some people probably get hundreds of messages. So you might find yours gets lost easy if you message on social media. So it's always worth trying to do an email, I reckon. An observation balloon would be good fun to do for a 28mm. Where I've got my game set up in the loft, maybe I'll attach one to the ceiling. Just have it bobbling around up there. That'd be funny. Right. It just takes so long doing batch painting sometimes. I know it'll be worth it at the end, but just want them done now, really. Want to get finish them now. Hey Luke, how are you? Welcome in. I'm currently painting up some fire Zouaves. Taking a while, but we're getting there. We're batch painting 24 of them, so it'll take a little while, I think. I don't know, I think we're close to breaking the back on the painting. Once this black colour's done, it's just a bit more fiddlier stuff. And we've got I'll have to touch up the white, and then do the gold. So I'll probably do gold buttons for the shirts because I just like it. I just like gold buttons. Or like brass. I'm using gold paint. Message Yaksha Gamer. He's mates with Ian, the Flags of War guy, and Ken's retired now. No excuses. There you go. Get to him via his mates. You working on anything tonight, Luke, or this week? I've not done a lot of painting, but I've catching up now. Oh, that guy's not got a bag. Ooh. That saved me a few seconds painting in. I do need to go back and look at the officer's coat again, because I think I said about it before. I think I was looking at doing it a different colour, like a lighter blue. But I need to make that decision because I'm gonna get to him soon and I'll have to paint him. The balloon was just scenery. I just like the idea of a lead balloon. Ah, I see. I thought you meant like an observation balloon. Luke, in the middle of my first 40k army in about 12 years. Blimey. Did you used to collect then, I assume? I assume it's changed a lot since you were last in it then. But yeah, what arm are you working on? I know of 40k. I used to be into it in a certain way. And a good mate of mine plays 40k, so I like the 40k, the universe and stuff. Just not massively played the game. I've had a handful of games under my belt, a good few editions back, but that's about it. Played a lot of fantasy, High Elves and Skaven, and 40k. I played Blood Angels. Ah, very nice. Yeah, I quite like. I started. Well, last year I got a couple of games of Old World under my belt. I did enjoy that, to be honest. I've got Tomb Kings, and then I am meant to be doing a Skaven army at some point, but I just haven't got around to it. I've not done a lot of painting for a long time, to be honest. It was only, I don't even know now, what, 4 months, 3 months ago when I started doing my streams that I really picked up the brush again after probably good sort of 9 months or so. Um, so yeah, long old time, but we're getting back into it slowly. Then yeah, well, at the moment my projects are Eric Civil War stuff, getting through my big backlog of stuff. And then I've just started some Napoleonic French, which it is sort of a backlog because I bought it all a couple of years ago, so I've not actually bought new stuff really. It's all just trying to get through the old backlog. I do actually have some old world, some Tomb Kings that are sat there that need painting, so I might get into that again. I did like Old World though. I enjoyed it as a system, I think. It was an observation balloon, but no game effect. It was the Intrepid, the first use of air power in combat in the Western Hemisphere. Yeah, it'd look nice just to have it on the table though, wouldn't it? It would be nice. Just having it blobbing around, out there. Ooh. Can't believe how tired I am, really. Probably should have had some coffee or something before we got going. But I know what'll happen. I'd get in bed later and then I won't be able to sleep for like 2 hours. Yeah, I was going to do some painting today during the day, but ended up just having like a chilled family day, so didn't really get around to it. So I found over the Christmas break I really got into doing quite a bit of painting, which was nice. They painted his. Yeah. Keep missing the cartridge. Not cartridge box. It's the cap, percussion cap boxes. As a previous question, as regards to Joy 6 photos, that'll be a matter of having time. It's mainly a one-man show. I need ropes. I need to rope some of my chef mates. I thought it said chef mates in. Yeah, I mean, if you can grab some, it'd be nice to do a load of photos up for the showing off the table, wouldn't it? I'd certainly like to see. But if not, yeah, I agree. Just focus on the game and rather than distracting yourself for doing that. Hmm. Right. Oh, it's fiddly. I know they're going to look good on the table. It'll just be getting through it. Tell you what I'm looking forward to. I just had I was watching Napoleonic Wargamer video he released today. And he's announced that he's going to remake his getting started videos regarding Napoleonic stuff. And I found them really enjoyable to watch, especially when you're like trying to build an army, plan it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Watching more of them. Because it's all like, I think the majority of them are like 5 years old. And pricing has changed a lot since then. So And the more ranges. There's a larger range out these days. So yeah, it'd be good to see what he does with it. So I do enjoy that sort of content. Something to get your teeth into and be like, yeah, I can dream up my next project. Which I like to do from time to time. Might have to rely on game reports. Alex Stormzy and Big Lee Miniature Adventures are mates, so I'll call them coverage if I can. Yeah, grab them. Okay, though. Thomas, here's what we made. Is what yeah, Napoleonic War Games. What got you into Napoleonics? Yeah, I mean it. Yeah, I would probably say the same. I did buy some Napoleonic Highlanders a very long time ago, but by getting watching the Napoleonic Wargaming's videos kind of got me back into it, I must admit. And it's the reason why I ended up buying the box set I did, because I watched his video. So I was like, okay, well now I know what sort of stuff I want to buy, because I can follow their recommendations. So yeah, I'll be interested to see. I've been looking, like, for example, I've been looking a lot about their sort of Imperial Guard army, sort of talking about what they would recommend buying for that, and that's really handy stuff. Yeah, they do good stuff. So I'll be looking forward to that sort of revamped series. I think for my main French army, I'm sorted. I don't think I need anything else really. It'd be more down to playing now, if I want to go play some games and then see if what works. Like I definitely need more artillery. And then I would like to get some heavy cavalry, but I don't know if there would be much point behind that. So I haven't played any games yet, so I don't know if the heavy cavalry are going to be any good or not. But yeah. I'll have to go back and watch their French video actually, because I can't remember what they suggested getting. Show reports, not game reports, sorry. David, but yeah. Your yeah, that sounds like an interesting book, David. I'll have to definitely on my to-do list, as it'll yeah, like you said, it sounds quite in depth, and I don't know much about Napoleonic Wars really, so it'll be valuable to learn. Thomas said, I haven't got artillery yet for Napoleonics, but I do have some heavy cavalry. What heavy cavalry? What army have you got, so? What nation did you go for? Yeah, I've got some artillery. I've got one artillery piece, and that's because it came in the Warlord Waterloo start set, which is what I bought. So that came with a gun. And then yeah, I don't know what to go for. I don't really like Victrix for the Napoleonic stuff. And so I'm a bit hesitant to go buy their Napoleonic French artillery set. But yeah, I don't know if I should just pick it up, and then that'll give me 3 more guns, and that'll probably be all I need. The Napoleonic Wargaming Irish Legion series is what I listen to while painting my Irish Legion. But I done Judo's Corps of French in the Spanish Peninsula. Oh, nice. Yeah, very nice. I was tempted at doing some British Peninsula. But I don't need to be buying anything more at the moment. Luckily, Bonaparte had no heavy cav and not much artillery in 1796. So, few batteries and dragoons, chasseurs, cheval, and hussars are my next Bacchus order. Yeah, I'm basing my army around the Grand Armée of 1812. So I think they had a fair few guns for that. I'm pretty sure. As for I haven't really looked too much into it. But I'd like to do some cuirassiers because they look cool. But again, I'm not really sure if I were to go with black powder. I'm not sure if there's much of a difference between cavalry. I don't know. Don't know how the game system works. Also, I'm guessing French heavy cavalry aren't great. Well, all right. I've considered a 1798 French army of Humbert in Ireland to go alongside my 1798 United Irishmen. Very nice. Very niche, but nice. My heavy cavalry are cuirassiers. Yeah, I think I might get some. I like the look of them. Although my dragoons are filling that spot at the moment because I've... Oh, sorry, not dragoon, lancers. So my lancers that I've done up in 1812, I think Napoleon basically rebranded 6 dragoon regiments and made them into lancers of the line. So they got those cool dragoon helmets for their lancers, which I like. I like the dragoon helmets; they look cool. I don't know the actual name of the helmet, but yeah, it does look nice. So I've got them. I'll scratch an itch for now when it comes to cool looking cav. But as for tabletop efficiency, I don't know. I don't know if they're going to do anything or not. The likelihood is they're going to be going up against Don Cossacks cavalry, so yeah, they can only assume they're going to be good. My sort of French lancer and hussars probably not so much. All right, there's his pouch. Ugh. Oh, I thought I was on the last base, but we're not. Ugh. God, I feel like I've been painting for a long old time. All right, right, come on. Last shift now. Let's go. Cool. Some of these details are so fine. Can't see them. I'm supposed to have good eyesight as well. Thought I probably should be painting the scabbards, bayonet scabbards black as well. I haven't been. Thought about doing them brown, that's why. I'm not a fan of points battles. I find them artificial, especially naps and ACW are well documented enough for order of battles. Yeah, I try do order of battle stuff. But yeah, just because I'm playing with a mate, I think we are trying to do historical units at least. I just don't know if we'll. Yeah, I don't know what we got planned yet. I think I'd like to try pick some scenarios from the 1812 campaign with Moscow. So yeah, maybe the Battle of Borodino and do something like the Redoubt. That could be a fun one. But yeah, I'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I do like to do historical ones. But I'm thinking maybe if we do it, if it becomes a bit more casual when we game, I might want to try some different things out. Like, for example, try some heavy cav out. Then it does come a bit more. It's easier to do points at that point, isn't it? But I can't. Haven't figured it out. I was thinking of looking at heavy cav, doing some cuirassiers, but do the Saxon cuirassiers, which were at the Borodino Redoubt. I think it's them that took it. Well, actually, that could be one. They are the heavy cav I want, but they are they're nice looking as well. Got some nice uniforms. So, yeah, who knows? We'll play with the idea. In my group, you randomly get assigned an order of battle for a CW anyway. Yeah, I think either way, whichever way you do it, is as long as you're getting games right. That's the trick. That's why we're here. Or majority of us. A few of us are here for games anyway. Yeah, I think if I think Order of Battle and actual recreating battles appeal more to people that are passionate about a certain war or campaign. Whereas if you're less concerned about that sort of stuff, you might have less reason to want to recreate that sort of historical battle, and that's where you have some rules offer like a point system, so then you still play, but just not tied to a specific game, specific scenario, should I say? Right, close. Awesome. We aren't so much as recreating battles, but rather using units from battle that correspond with our campaign year/month. So in our grand campaign, it's January 1862. That's a good way of doing it, though. Kind of keep to historical unit strengths and stuff as well. That'd be good fun. Or I had that when I was thinking of doing like a fictional campaign. How could you draw troops into that campaign throughout the war when technically they should be in other formations? For example, if I had a campaign going and I have Longstreet, say, then during like the time of Gettysburg, then technically he wouldn't have been there. So then, but also I guess if you're doing a campaign, it doesn't have to have the Greater War involved, you know. Yeah, it's an interesting thing to think about. Yeah, so right, let me thing is at lower level fighting points makes more sense if you're doing Austerlitz, should I say, or Antietam brackets whole battle. At the army level points are just silly. We have the data even for what ifs. Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah. Um, yeah, so my Irish Brigade isn't a veteran or elite unit yet. It's mostly trained volunteers, but as they are used to, as they are used and fight, they become more engaged. Yeah, that's quite a cool thing to have, like an experience system, so you get units experienced. See the elephant. I always think that if you're doing like an experience thing, do you find a unit loses experience once it replenishes troops? So as you get recruits in, then do they lose experience? And paint the belts on this officer because I still don't know what colour I want to do his coat. If there's any way of avoiding just doing a blue, this dark sort of blue I'm using. If there's a way of avoiding that, I'm gonna. So I did see somewhere of a painting of the officer of the fire Zouaves wearing a lighter blue jacket. So if that's true, I'd rather go with that. So it's going to look more interesting on the table. Just realised, have I painted any more chaps with keppies? And do I paint the brim? Or the rim, should I say. One keppy, one keppy. Alright. Super. Alright, my eyes are deceiving me now. I'm looking for 3. Oh, I'm so confused. There should be. Oh, there, he's right there. My eyes were deceiving me. Tom says loss of experience on replenishment is rolled, so on a 1 or 2 they go back to what they started to. So normal militia trained or volunteers as a 3, 4 they're going down 1 level, 5, 6 they stay the same experience. That's a nice way of doing it. Yeah, because I definitely think that should be a factor if you're replenishing. I thought the Fire Zouaves wore grey frock coats, the officers. You absolutely could be right. I'm saying blue, light blue, but it definitely could be grey. Let's have a look. Use my Entree Army. I'm happy to do grey because it would look nice. Right, 60. Yeah, there you go. Look. It does look grey, doesn't it? It does look grey. Maybe that's what we do. I'm going to Google it quickly. If it is grey, I'll go with that. Again, it's given that. Yeah, he is wearing a light grey. Okay, we're going to go with that. That look nice. Cool. So, now what grey am I going to use? I don't want to use the grey I've used on the shirt, so I wouldn't mind trying a different grey. Not sure what else I have. Gravelord Grey, I think that's what I've used there. And Ashen Stone is a bluey grey. Greg Wagman's scenario books for Alter Freedom have brigades both gaining strength and experience or replacements and losing strength, depletion of and green troops, but it isn't a campaign book. Alter Freedom have brigades both gaining strength, experience or replacements and losing strength, depletion. So that's I'll have to look at it, check out how he's done it. I don't know if I want to do that officer in that grey, but I think we'll go for it. We'll see what it looks like. Because yeah, it'd be nice to. In fact, let me do. What am I doing for the blues? The is that too Talasar blue? Is that too rich? Might be too rich. I want to paint the cuffs on this guy. I think it was a painting of the 69th and the 11th retaking the 69th's colours. Showed the Fazu officer in a grey coat with Austrian braid on their sleeves. Very Confederate looking. There is a picture I'm looking at right now which has the Irish, the 69th there. And the officer is in grey. He's in grey trousers as well, which I've not done. That's a shame. But he's just got blue cuffs with gold buttons on it. So he hasn't got braid. I'll tell you what, I'm going to go paint his trousers back white. And I'll go in with grey trousers, I think. Yeah. Alright. Yeah, I just like the idea of having the officers stand out a bit more. Or just adds to the unit looking a bit different, doesn't it? So I'll paint his trousers back in white and then I'll paint the whole thing in grey. Alright. Let's leave him there. Hello, Mackie James. What's with the red coats? We are painting up some fire Zouaves from the Battle of First Manassas. So, yeah, they're actually red shirts. So a lot of them wore red shirts underneath their jackets. And in First Manassas, a lot of them didn't wear their jackets. They sort of ditched them before the battle because it was quite warm. So it's a selection of shirts. I've gone for white shirts, red shirts, and grey shirts. Majority of them are being white and red shirts. So yeah, there we go. So that's what the red is. But hello, welcome to stream. How are you? Yeah, we're just chugging along with this unit here, trying to figure it all out of what colours we're going with. But I think we're going there. I think I'll go with blue canteens. I think I'm going to take this blue. Oh, I wonder if there's any artwork showing their canteens, what they wore. Not really. Not massively. Maybe this one might show it. Oh, they've got a wood one on. So. Just want to know what colour canteens to chuck it on, you know? Yeah. That's really lovely. Found a reenactment group of it actually, which has got some good photos. I think they've gone for. Right, so no, that blue's going to be too bright. If I want to try get roughly where I want it. Do I have Battleship Grey? Let's choose Battleship Grey for the canteens. I mean, a particular brigade would have different strength values at different battles. They fight with strength they had on the day in history. Yeah. I see. Maybe this isn't the right one to do. Right, scrap that. Don't want anything super bright blue. Right. The more you know. Yeah, no, we're all learning, which is nice. Yeah, it's what I think I quite like about this. Yeah, go on, let's do it this colour. I quite like about doing these Zouaves is it just gets another colourful unit on the tabletop, you know, for the Union Army. Which I think can fall into the trap of just having lots of regular dressed infantry. Yeah, nice. I'm not being very neat on these canteens, so I'm going to have to go back over the straps and with white. I think I'm going to do a pass with the white anyway and just touch up any bits I've missed. So what I've been doing on like strapping recently is sort of leave it a base white. Oh, I've missed some of the black here. Leave it a base white, just touch it up with some white if I've messed it up anywhere, and then just go with a null wash over the top, and then in some bits I just go back and highlight, others I can just leave it. Trying to do the bare minimum, have it look nice, you know. For the rules in the group, every 2 in campaign. Replenishment opportunity. Oh yeah, nice. That's a good way of keeping things fresh. Star scrolled. Right. We are getting these guys. I tried that other. Although that might be runic grey might be a good colour to go for. I think for my officer. I just don't want it to be a blue grey, but who knows? Maybe having them all with blue canteens isn't great, but. The generals also vary in stats and characteristics. Jackson at Chancellorsville, great. On the peninsula, average at best. It definitely adds colour. Yeah, that's what I do like about, from what I've read of the Art of Freedom rules. Every battle is very it's not like you take a general like you kind of just said. You don't take a general and run them across the whole wall with all the same stats. You kind of each point in time they perform differently. Then they reflect that in the game, which is a nice touch. It adds flavour to an already very flavoured rule set, which is great. Right, close. And I'm just going to paint this officer's coat. I think we should be ready to go with it. Thomas said our gems have special rules rather than stats. So Jackson has a morale bonus, so forces either around him or under him are harder to force back. I think general stats and stuff like that and special rules helps add flavour, I think. If you were looking at like Jackson in the valley, you could, give him like a foot cavalry special rule or something where all his infantry can move quicker or something like that, Again, add a bit of flavour. Well, alright. But if a general is killed, massive debuffs to their commands. Right, I missed painting one of these guys' bags. I've got to find it. It's there. Consider best of us. Right. Awesome. I might go in and paint their guns a sec. Realistically, Jackson's stats should recline over a campaign due to sleep deprivation. Yeah, that's a good point. That's what they say at Antietam, wasn't it? He was very not on best performance there. On foot cavalry, the Stonewall Brigade have it, or if Jackson is divisional commander, he gives it to all under him, provided they are forces he commanded in the valley. Yeah, so like valley troops, any brigade from the valley could get foot cavalry, which would be good. Yeah, you can have fun with it, and I do think Greg's done very well with Shiny the bag out with what he's done with Altar of Freedom. Must admit, I think some of the stats and stuff you get with these generals works really well. Right, I forgot what I'm going to be using. Battleship Grey. I'm going to use that for the officer's coat. Decline, yeah. Yeah, decline over the campaign due to sleep deprivation. Yeah, that's a good take on it. That is a good take on it, and it's, again, historically accurate. He did suffer. I think that was just the fact that he just didn't sleep. Too busy trying to do everything. One rule I have a love-hate relationship is with Damn You Barlow. If Barlow commanding a regiment or two with one of his rules is to support Han, there is a chance he'll refuse, like at Antietam. Yeah, so like sort of inter commander rivalries. Again, that historical flavour in it. It's that's a bit of fun to the games. How complicated is this game versus Warhammer? The models I'm painting up. Well, I mean, they're not necessarily linked to a game. There's lots of games you can use them for. But, I mean, if you were to take one of the main hitters, which I would probably say is Black Powder, I would probably say it's a lot easier. I think it's less complicated to figure out your dice rolls than like Warhammer. I mean, I've not got much experience on Warhammer, so I can't really say. I played a bit of Old World. I've seen stuff of like 40k and that, but I'd like to say that some of the rule systems that I've looked to play, I would say seem a lot simpler or a lot easier to pick up and play than sort of Warhammer. That's just my opinion, I think. I think this maybe collecting historicals as well. It tends to lean on the person being quite into historicals, so that can kind of help when it comes to games and stuff like that. I don't know. I do house rule Union Cavalry to have range attacks after 18.6. Got to give Buford his carbine on day one at Gettysburg. Yeah, dismounted. The Confederates, Garnett has a chance to disobey Stonewall, and if it happens, Stonewall arrests Garnett, and thus the brigade loses its commander. That's good fun. Yeah, what's everyone's opinions on what systems you play then to sort of answer Mackie James? You know, how I guess there's lots of systems you can play, but you know, I guess if we're talking, let's talk 28 mil because it's similar to 40k or Warhammer scale, isn't it? But can you think of any rule systems that might be easier to play, or maybe some that are harder? Right. In my group, we run a house homemade system. So we find it really easy because we made it. For getting started, I recommend Black Powder, much easier than 40k, according to a friend who played 40k. There you go. Yeah, I think from what I know, from my limited knowledge of both rule systems, 40k and Black Powder, I would hazard a guess that, you know, I would make the assumption that Black Powder is easier to learn. But yeah, I don't know whether Black Powder leans more on a player's understanding of the conflict. Actually, I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. But it kind of what we were talking about earlier, like points play. You know, I think with Warhammer 40k and whatnot, you can buy the rulebook and be like, okay, I'll look at points. You know what points game I want to play, and off I go. I can collect from there. Whereas I don't know if more historical games are a bit different because you're not necessarily going off points. You're going off battles, historical formations. So is does that therefore make it a little bit difficult because it's not about just picking up the rule book and buying some models? You've kind of got to do a bit more research. I don't know. Food for thought, I guess. You can have perfectly good war game with nuances and strategic decisions using a few pages of rules on the other end. Some rules are really crunchy. Yeah, crunchy rules put me off. You know, I don't want to spend hours trying to get my head around how something works or something plays. But then also, I do like something to get my teeth into, so it's a bit of sort of in between. Because I think I like games with flavour, and I don't know if you're going to struggle to get that across in a game that uses a couple of pages of rules. And this is where scenarios come in, right? having scenarios is a way of you adding flavour to a rule set. Again, quoting sort of Altar Freedom. Rule sets used to be really complicated. Yeah, I guess I'm of an era where two things: I don't play a lot of games, and two, I'm a spring chicken in the eyes of the wargaming world. I'm 30 something, 32, so I guess I wasn't privy to the glory days of really crunchy war games rules. All right. You're a spring chicken, Matt. That makes me a baby. I'm 19 and have wargame since I was 16. Okay, maybe I'm a little dustier than a spring chicken, um, but then yeah, I've not played a lot, to be honest. It's just never something I've got round to. I played a fair bit a while back. Then had a child, and that changes things. And I juggle a lot of hobbies, so if wargaming was my only hobby, I would be playing a lot more. But I do other stuff, so this hobby, my wargaming hobby, can take a big back seat sometimes. Um, I remember the Newbury rules from WRG. I'm not familiar with them, David. I've just moved to Kentucky, so deciding unit stats based on my intellect is in the standing of history may provoke some hearty disagreements. The youngest in my group is myself. Older is pushed 71. Yeah, it's been good. We're all around. We've all been around. It's a good hobby for old kids and young kids. Um, where have you? So you've just moved to Kentucky then? Where were you? You before you moved far or? I know American distances and British distances are a little different, but sounds like you've moved into the state of Kentucky. So I play once a week. That's what we aim for. Never happens. As the group are farmers, firemen, and teachers. Really fun trying to organise a night out. No one's schedules ever works. Ah, mate, I feel that pain. I feel that pain. It's what I just don't game. I don't. I don't burden myself with the stress of trying to arrange something, so I just don't arrange it. But I have actually this week just arranged with my gaming mates to do like a painting chat one night, um, just to get that going, you know. Because yeah, we share a WhatsApp group where we post and chat a lot. But you know, my other two mates do game between themselves fairly often, but I don't really find the time, so it's like kind of miss out on quite a lot. So I was like, let's do a gaming, like a chat where we do some painting, egg each other on with our work and stuff, you know. So that's what I'm currently doing. Going to be doing this Wednesday, which would be nice, and it gets me painting a bit more as well. I'm from England. My wife's from Kentucky, and I'm from London. Ah, nice. Moving over to the States. There's a big jump, big old jump, but nice one. How you enjoying it? Have you been there long? Not really experienced with America, to be honest. I went once for my honeymoon, and that was it. Not really been back. I'd like to go back at some point, but I think the biggest difference is 40k. Choose a faction, historical. Choose a period, scale, nation, theatre, rule set. Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, if you were going to start a historical, yeah, you could say that. If you're going to start a Black Powder Army, well, what period are you going to go for? Oh, let's go for 1860s. Let's go for America. Okay, so like, saying that American Civil War's a little bit different. Let's go for Napoleonic. You know, okay, let's go for Napoleonic. All right, which theatre do you want to do? Peninsular, like, or what campaign do you want to do? And that can affect armies, right? A bit like in the American Civil War. If you went early war, you'd have slightly different looking armies to a certain point. Whereas, yeah, 40k is like a little bit different. But I guess you could say like, well, no, yeah, yeah. Our game nights often turn into a few drinks and a takeaway. We will play for a few hours, break for some beer, food, another games, darts, snooker, or pool, then become general for another few hours. Ah, that sounds nice there, mate. That sounds nice. I just to find the time to do it at the moment is I struggle. And it's not down to not being able to do it. It's just I'm just tired a lot. Although I would definitely be up for doing a game night a week. You know, I need to get that sorted. Get everyone on board. Because I find weeknights are a little bit easier for me rather than weekends. My weekends tend to be so much busier. So trying to plan a weekend to do some gaming, it just doesn't happen. Whereas a weeknight to do some gaming is a little bit easier for me. Just put the kid to bed and then go roll some dice. Easier to afford houses here. As a young person, culture is based around horses, bourbon, and guns, sometime at the same time. overall, quite fun. Yeah. I can get behind the horses and guns bit. I would like to collect some guns. I guess different states have different stuff going on as well, you know. I'm sure certain states are nicer to live than others. But yeah, I can see housing affordability being a big factor as well if people want to move out there and stuff. My wife often watches like American family vlogs and stuff, and it's disgusting seeing some of their houses. You know, some big whopping houses, and you think, oh, it's a real shame that I can't afford that. Was an interesting state during the Civil War because of the state had its own mini Civil War. My wife's family fought on both sides. Yeah, that's true. Kentucky kind of were caught in the middle, weren't they? Border state stuff, wasn't it? Right, we also I haven't actually shown them off, but I've been just painting the wood on the guns. So I'm going to paint this last. Oh, my neck's starting to go now. This last standard bearer pole, which is incredibly wonky. I think I'll just straighten out another day. I like this brown for the wood, but it doesn't like to sit well on super flat surfaces. It just looks really patchy. It was always fun when I was working on a uni assignment while also fighting Stonewall Jackson. It was always fun. I only have a shotgun for farm use. Have considered getting a musket if I can. I would like to get some historical guns, I must admit. I'm not that fussed about modern guns, but you know, get a rifled musket or something like that. That'd be sick. Just fire that off, have the boys round, hit the backyard, and just fire some old muskets. I'd like to do a firing day, actually, like a shooting day, some point with old school guns like that. Be good fun. Right, I'm gonna go for this grey. I think it's like a bluey grey, but I think I'm gonna go for it. Its cuffs are lined, trimmed with red. I'm gonna have to try do that. 1 to 54mm, any war, anywhere, 1-to-1 skirmish like 40k up to thousands of minis represent hundreds and hundreds of combat patterns. The range of choice is huge. It can be intimidating or inspiring. I could definitely see the intimidating bit. Again, I say I don't really know much about 40k and stuff, but I would probably argue I came from a Games Workshop background, as in, you know, my first sort of dive into any sort of gaming was Warhammer. So I came from that direct. So that's where I kind of shifted straight into 28 mil. But I know, obviously, back in the day, other scales were probably a lot more dominant. Well, I guess they probably still are, but like 18 mil or 15 mil, you know, I wouldn't even really known about them when I first started collecting. You know, I used to have Empire as a kid, Warhammer Fantasy Empire. I collected a bit of that. My brother collected 40k, and then I started collecting some Tau, Warhammer 40k Tau. And then I remember just before Age of Sigmar came out, I started collecting Fantasy Dwarves in kind of anticipation for this new rule set that I heard about coming out, Age of Sigmar. Which turned out to be not so good. But yeah, and then that's sort of why I'm in 28 mil, and then I shifted to historicals. So I think maybe if I redid it again, I'd choose a different scale, but I like 28 mil as well. 28 mil's a certain way to play, paint. Thomas, one rule set I forgot to mention is firepower from the Perry Battle in the Box. Also, a good box for starting as a starter set as well. Yeah, I've got firepower kicking around somewhere because I've had a couple of Battle in the Boxes for over the years. So yeah, that is a rule set. They obviously Valor and Fortitude as well. That's a rule set I really want to look at some point. Oh, this isn't really working at all, that grey. I might have to... It's a little too light. Unless I run a wash over it. I'm going to run a wash over it. Yeah, so Valor and Fortitude's a cool system. Or cool looking system for what I've seen. David said I'd rather have Kentucky bourbon. Thomas, Irish whiskey for me. Awesome Tennessee whiskey. I wouldn't touch whiskey if it was me, to be honest. But the law in the UK is pretty loose on guns with ammunition that's no longer in production. You can get Henry Martin rifles without a license, I think. Yeah, so previously, you basically, if you had anything I think it was pre-1940s, if you had a replica gun pre-1940s. Oh no, I'm thinking of replicas. So originally you could get replica guns, anything pre-1940s, you could have them. But now they've changed it in the last year or so, because I've been looking at getting a American Civil War rifled musket for ages. And then a couple of years ago, they changed the rulings now that you need to basically not have a license, but you need to be part of a reenactment group to buy them. You can't just go and buy them anymore. You need to be part of like a reenactment group or a gun club or something like that. So, which is a shame, because yeah, I'd have liked to get something. But yeah, regarding actually firing guns, I'm not entirely sure. I always assumed that if you went for like muskets and stuff, that would come under shotgun license. So, and I don't know of any other like shotgun licenses and pistols. I don't know if you could get anything else. Tom said my uncle had a Martini Henry, one of my favourites to shoot. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Valor and Fortitude is free from Perry's, if I remember right. Yes, it's all on their website. Yeah, it's all free on their website. So go check it out. It's an interesting rule set because they use like a card system, so like a deck of cards, and they'll use the cards, and each number on the deck of cards relates to like things and stuff, which I think's quite cool. I'm familiar with Tennessee whiskey, and I think requesting it around here would get me in trouble. Yeah. Mackie James probably stick to Kentucky stuff, I think. Honestly, stuck up on Scotch whenever I'm home, but I tend to keep that fact quiet around the in-laws. Yeah, fair play. Volume Bayonet is supposed to be good, and Sam Mustafa's La Salle is good for division level. Is Volley and Bayonet Osprey Publishing? I can't remember. I remember seeing. I can picture the title in my head. I just can't remember who's done it. But yeah, we're almost finishing anyway on the stream. We'll be going for a couple more minutes, so we'll have a quick chat. But I'll be logging off, and I'm going to go straight to bed, ready for another week at work. Maybe we'll yeah, we ain't far off finishing these guys. We ain't far off. I'll hopefully we'll chug along next. I think we'll get them close next stream. We'll get them close. I get to a point now where I just got to touch up the white, put some of the gold buttons on, and then hit them with a wash, and then it's and metallics, and then a wash, and then maybe highlight some of the whites. If not, we can get away with it. So Tom says law is also slightly different in Northern Ireland because of everything. Muskets, I believe, still do come under shotguns. I think you can still get licenses for up to 5-round bolt actions. Ooh. Mackie James has a wonderful working antique gun store in Brighton. Found a needle gun there once. Oh, very nice. Yeah, there's like an online. Again, I'm. If I had a place to shoot a gun, I'd be more interested in getting one, but I don't. A friend of mine's got a shotgun license, so. But yeah, for example, if I had somewhere that I could get away shooting guns as a sport, then yeah, I'd look at getting something. But I live in a city, so probably not going to get away with firing anything off. My Tennessee hero is Mr. Jack Daniels. I'm not a whiskey fan. I'll admit it. I can't stand the stuff. I went to Edinburgh. I've done whiskey tasting in Ireland, in Dublin. I've done Jameson's distillery. I've done whiskey tasting up in Edinburgh, where we tasted like 7 different whiskies. Can't stand it. I wish I did. I wish I could like it. Absolutely don't. I'm trying to evolve my taste buds, but no. Maybe, I don't know, when I'm old and wrinkly, I might prefer it. I don't know. I don't know whether it's something you just got to drink and get over, you know. Nice. Anyway, we're going to end the stream there, because it is almost 10 o'clock now. But a massive thanks to everyone for watching. Everyone watching this live. Anyone watching this back on YouTube, fair play for sticking around this long. I don't know how insane it's been for you, but appreciate it. But yeah, I guess I'll try to rattle off. I'm going to try to remember everyone's names. I need to just write them down when you come in the chat, so I don't have to go back through. But thank you very much to Mark, Thomas, John, David. I think. Did we have Robert in? Robert as well. Yeah, I thought we did. Thank you very much. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Obviously, Mackie. James. Sorry, yeah, Mackie James as well. Welcome in. Thank you very much for stopping by. I think that's all of you. Unless anyone turns up last minute. But yeah. So thank you very much, everyone calling by, stopping by. We'll be here again next Sunday. Where we'll just chug on with these guys and get them to a point where they're almost done. I think I'm going to be missing a Sunday in January because I'll be away for the weekend, but I'll let you know. It's not this Sunday, it's next Sunday. Yeah, to answer your questions in the chat, I think Jack Daniels is a bourbon, not a whiskey, if I'm right. But anyway, good night, everybody. Enjoy your whiskey chat. Have a whiskey on me. Enjoy it. Enjoy the last of your Sunday nights, and enjoy a wonderful week of work ahead of us. And then we'll be back here next weekend. So, night, everyone. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll catch you all next time. Bye bye.